Good evening and thank you for joining us. Property owners in Thunder Bay are likely looking at a significant tax hike this year if City Council wants to avoid cutting services. City administration released the proposed 2023 budget today. It includes a tax levy increase of 6.2% or 5.6% after accounting for growth of the city's tax base over the last year. Lee Noonan has the details.
An increased police budget and rising inflation are only two of the reasons given by staff for the historically high tax levy increase of 6.2 or, after growth, 5.6%. That represents an extra $12.8 million in taxation. City Manager Norm Gale says it's the biggest increase seen in his career.
This budget will be the most difficult budget ever faced by a city council in the history of the city of Thunder Bay.
Policing accounts for more than a third of the increase, $4.4 million, and is outside administration's jurisdiction.
The Police Services Board and the Police Chief make a budget proposal to city council. We do not have a role there.
Other major budget drivers include $1.3 million for program and service review initiatives and a provincially mandated recycling program, and inflation, which according to City Treasurer Linda Evans accounts for about $1.6 million of the budget.
When it comes to things like salt on the roads as well as paint, there's been exorbitant increases in those costs. And finally, another example is our long-term care and senior services area, where we're seeing, as we all are, increases in our food.
And with volatility at the pumps, they're recommending dipping into the stabilization reserves to help cover increases in fuel prices. The capital infrastructure budget was also decreased by 10%, despite direction from council to increase infrastructure spending by 5% every year, and administration's own recommendations. The new council will work to finalize the numbers by April, with Gale predicting council will face a grueling budget process in the coming months. Councillor Brian Hamilton says he'd like to see the capital spending increase brought back, while Casey Atreni is most concerned about maintaining services. Both councillors anticipate a significant challenge.
I think we need all hands on deck, so to say, and we're going to need to have all eyes on this budget to hopefully bring it down to the most affordable that we can, given that the community is really asking for a maintenance of service levels and hopefully an increase in capital spending.
It's going to be a tough budget. We are going to have to sharpen the pencils, and to be fair, I mean, we'll have to see how the rest of the month plays out.
Residents will have the opportunity to add their 2 cents at a meeting on July 12th. Registration to speak, whether virtually or in person at the meeting, must be submitted by noon on January 11th. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
A Southern Ontario man was arrested at the Thunder Bay Airport yesterday evening on drug trafficking charges, but not before security guards and another person were assaulted. City police were called to the airport around 6:30. The suspect attempted to conceal something after being selected for screening. Police say the man then tried to flee. While doing so, he assaulted a bystander and 2 security guards and also damaged an airport sliding door. One victim was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The suspect was arrested by police, who discovered a quantity of fentanyl and about $39,000 in cash. The 25-year-old Peterborough man is charged with mischief, 4 counts of assault, and possession of fentanyl and proceeds of crime. He appeared in bail court today and remains in custody pending a future court date. Thunder Bay Police and the local OPP announced the results of their festive ride programs this afternoon. A news conference was held at the Balmoral station, during which members of both police forces expressed frustration over the statistics. Jessica Clement explains.
Sergeant Sal Carchidi from the Thunder Bay Police Traffic Unit says the numbers this year are disappointing. 31 people in the city have been charged with impaired driving throughout the 31-day festive ride program, which is slightly higher than last year when 29 people were arrested. 4 of this year's arrests were for drug impairment, while the other 27 were due to alcohol. Offenders are subject to a 7-day vehicle impoundment and a minimum 90-day license suspension. Carchidi says he knows they're only scratching the surface with their impaired driving arrests.
There's a lot of drivers going undetected and still driving while impaired. So I don't think those numbers are necessarily a true a count of the amount of impaired drivers in Thunder Bay, but it's the amount of impaired drivers being taken off the road, which over the holiday season is just way too many.
The total numbers of impaired drivers in 2022 was 204, down about 20% from the previous year. Pakarchidi says the city continues to outpace the provincial average.
From 2021, it was, I believe, 110 or 111 impaired drivers per 100,000 people. And last year, if you do our math, I believe we're at 180 per 100,000 people. I can't explain the logic for that. I'd like to think that our officers are well trained in detecting this. We do have significantly higher number of drug impaired arrests compared to the rest of the province.
The local OPP announced a similarly high number of impaired driving charges over the holidays. Constable Mark Nielsen says between November 17th and January 2nd, officers with the Thunder Bay, Armstrong, and Chappaqua detachments charged 36 motorists with impaired driving. Nielsen says it's a concerning number.
When you get up to highway speeds, faster speeds with weather conditions that we're currently dealing with, wintertime wise, reaction time, stopping time of your vehicle is a lot longer. Again, like we've all seen through education, driving impaired by drugs or alcohol, you believe that perhaps your ability is increased. When it's not, it's actually a lot slower than you think.
Nielsen says that even though the festive ride program has wrapped up, they will continue to do ride programs throughout the rest of the year. He adds that if anyone suspects someone of impaired driving, to call 911, as it could save a life. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Hundreds of people gathered in Barrie today to bid a final farewell to OPP officer Greg Pershala, who was killed in the line of duty. The 28-year-old was gunned down while responding to a call just days after Christmas. The rookie officer is the 5th in the province to be killed since September. Austin Delaney reports.
An eerie silence that had fallen over this Barrie neighborhood, broken only by the sounds of the pipes and the drums, as the police procession made its way to the arena for the funeral of OPP Constable Greg Pershala. Hundreds of OPP from across the province here to pay respects to one of their own, killed in the line of duty last week. For the men and women in uniform marching today, this is an emotional moment, a time for reflection.
I'm just remembering kind of what we do every day and remembering why we do it.
Like Constable Greg Pershala, Jasleen Thompson is a rookie with the OPP.
I just started recently myself, and this is my coach officer right here, so it's just, I picture how he was feeling that day and how excited he was to finally be signed off on probation, and must have been, yeah, I lost for words.
It was Pershala's first day alone on patrol after completing his 10-month probation. In amongst the sea of blue, you'll find Toronto Constable Jeff Churchill. It is not his first time he has marched in honor of fallen officers.
This is a tough one, Austin. Obviously, it hits home with everybody here, and really what I think of is that this could have been anybody. It could have been me, it could have been any of the other 1,000 officers that are here today. So it strikes home that on any given day, you show up, you try to do your job, and something like this could happen, and that's really where it becomes difficult.
The randomness of this police killing is not missed on any one of these frontline emergency workers here to pay tribute to their fallen colleague.
It's a gathering where, police officers are coming together, and with this situation, everyone's looking at their own lives, because this officer, Greg, was just responding to help someone whose car was in the ditch. And for that, he paid the ultimate price.
By the time the cortege carrying the slain officer arrived, the skies had opened up and rain began to fall, while colleagues raised their arms and saluted. The streets along the procession route are lined with people who never knew Constable Pershala, but many have a connection to the policing family.
My brother works for the police in England, and this could happen to any of us. We could get the same phone call, and I live in Barrie, and I wanted to come down here and show my support.
My husband's an OPP officer, so I'm here to support them and the family.
We need to support our frontline people, and something like this where one of our officers is ambushed and killed like this, it's an atrocity that they need our support on.
Inside the arena, the flag-draped coffin carrying the body of the OPP constable is brought in. The 7,000 officers are silent Only the sounds of the pipe echo through the arena.
As we've heard over the last few days, Greg was living his dream of being a police officer. It's what he wanted to do as a little boy of just 5 years old. It was his calling. Before becoming an officer, Greg had served proudly as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces and as a special constable at Queen's Park, proudly protecting our province's legislature and the hundreds of elected officials and staff who work there.
CTV's Austin Delaney with the story there. The municipality of Shunya is getting a new ambulance base that's solely dedicated to EMS. The local paramedics have been sharing a roof with the Shunya Fire Service for years. The current Fire and Emergency Services building at the corner of Lakeshore Drive and Mackenzie Station Road is crowded with both firefighters and paramedics who have to work out of a small trailer unit. Their ambulance is parked in a confined area next to the fire trucks, making it tough for any of the vehicles to get out in a hurry. These issues will all be addressed with the new facility, which will be built nearby on Mackenzie Beach Road. EMS Chief Shane Weir says it will allow paramedics to respond to calls more quickly and do their jobs more effectively.
To get them their own facility where they can have housed quarters, they can be comfortable, they can increase their morale a little bit, to be outside of a trailer environment and actually into a facility building, and also have a quick response to their ambulance to get in there quickly to help respond to the community. I just want to thank all the paramedics for their hard work out there. I know they've had a really hard go throughout COVID-19, and they've really been showing their diligence and their duty to their community, and we really appreciate it.
The new EMS base will be constructed and owned by Shunya, but leased back to the city of Thunder Bay. The $2.2 million facility is expected to break ground in the spring. Booking a campsite at Trowbridge Falls and Chippewa Park campgrounds just got a lot more convenient. As part of the city's new digital strategy, residents can now book online through the new campsite reservation system. The website is equipped with maps, images of each campsite, availability calendars, and flexible searches. This allows campers to evaluate their sites and dates beforehand and reserve and pay for the site that works best for them. The website allows booking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from a laptop, cell phone, or tablet. City officials say telephone and in-person bookings are also still available, but not until next week. Administrative Support Supervisor Caitlin Kane hopes the booking site makes it a lot more convenient for people, and she encourages residents to explore the city's campsites.
We saw bookings coming in from all hours throughout the day yesterday, and it's just been wonderful to see. We're also seeing some, more people who have never visited the City of Thunder Bay's campgrounds making a reservation and just being more interested in what the City of Thunder Bay has to offer.
Camping season at the two campgrounds runs from June 2nd to September 3rd. More information is available at thunderbay.ca/campgrounds. Ray Lalonde's amazing run on Jeopardy came to an end last night. The former Thunder Bay resident fell just short of his 14th straight victory on the popular game show, but he will be back in the fall for the Tournament of Champions. Vasilios Bellos spoke with Lalonde from his home in Toronto about his incredible experience.
This man, born and raised in Thunder Bay, won the right to call himself a Jeopardy super champion after winning 13 straight games in the competition. Who is Ray Lalonde?
Our champion, Ray Lalonde, was in second place by just a few $100. With 12,000, was he correct? With Isabel Allende. He knew it was Allende. He will add, he bet it all as well. You have $24,000, and now you, sir, have the lead. Did he wager enough? He's smiling. $12,000, taking you to $24,490. You, sir, are a new Jeopardy champion. Congratulations. Ray, with 13 wins, we'll be seeing you in the Tournament of Champions this autumn.
Unfortunately, Lalonde's streak ended Tuesday night, but not before those 13 wins, amassing more than $386,000 in winnings. That puts him 12th all-time in the competition's history, excluding tournaments. To achieve this total in such a difficult and unpredictable game like Jeopardy is incredible, and Lalonde says it wasn't something he was prepared for on day one.
Yeah, you don't go into this thinking this is going to happen to you. It just does, which has been lovely. But I went down there thinking, if I don't do too badly, and maybe I'll win one game if I'm really lucky. And then obviously I just kept on winning games.
And of course, 13 wins is more than enough for Lalonde to secure his place in the Tournament of Champions. Lalonde talks about his mindset heading into that competition, where he'll take on some of the best to ever play the game.
I'm just going to get on there and try my best and have fun. I mean, everybody down there, I mean, universally, every contestant down there is bright, smart, some of the most amazing people you ever meet. And I feel very lucky to have, been in that environment and breathe that air, sort of thing. So yeah, and the people that win, they're really good. So if I'm competitive, I'll be perfectly happy.
With Lalonde being born and raised in Thunder Bay, many in our city, Jeopardy fans or not, we're following his incredible run. Lalonde concludes by talking about what it means to feel that support from his hometown.
Oh, it's been lovely. And I've still got family up there, and a few people that I'm still in contact with. And so I'm just hearing, they're mentioning you every night on the news. Oh, that's great, That's kind of strange. But I still, Thunder Bay is where I grew up and spent my entire childhood until I went to university, and I've got many, many fond memories there. So it's lovely.
Vasilios Bellows, TBT News.
Yeah, we were all hanging off of every win. Congratulations to Ray Lalonde. What a run it was. Sorry to see it come to an end. Turning to weather now, Fiona, our run of above average temperatures, well, that continues.
Yes, it does. Today, okay, maybe it was a little bit cooler than some might have seen over the last few days, but still well above normal. Normal for this time of year is a high of -9 and a low of about -21. Last night we had a low of -15 and today a high of -4. Okay, with the wind chill, felt a few degrees cooler than that, but all in all, that's still well above normal, and it came with mostly cloudy skies, winds from the northeast 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. To the west, similar mild conditions in Fort Frances. They're currently at -6 and a wind chill about -9 at this time. It cools off a little bit as you head into Kenora at -8, Dryden -9, and Red Lake currently at -12 with a wind chill there. It feels like -13. They did have a little bit of snow earlier today, but right now just mostly cloudy. Similar temperatures eastward into Sioux Lookout, Armstrong, Pickle Lake, and Greenstone, though, much cooler, much more wintry. They are currently at -14 and a wind chill of -21. They've had light snow for much of the afternoon. Marathon at -10, and Sault Ste. Marie just a couple degrees below the freezing mark at -2. They also have had light snow showers. It's very wet snow there, and wind chills are currently hovering around -6. Now, in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, it's going to be a little bit cooler in some ways. -13 and wind chills of -16, but that's still well above normal. And the winds are going to be a little bit brisk, but just 11 to 25 kilometers per hour with a few clouds. As we head into Thursday, we are going to see further cooling, not a lot, but it is going to inch its way downward. However, even with the slightly falling temperatures over the next few days, we are still going to be above normal, although only by that much, for well into next week. And it's looking also pretty dry. I'll have more details on that later on in the news hour.
Okay, thanks a lot, Fiona. Well, there's concern over a new COVID-19 variant that seems to be less severe but is far more transmissible. We'll have all the details as your news hour continues.
China for more rapid, regular, reliable data on hospitalizations.